Good morning, gentlemen. I'm back at my favorite spot is in Abu Dhabi, and I'm standing in front of my villa facing the sea, and I'm going to talk to you about the racist development which is going on regarding the spread of Christianity in India. Now, first of all, let me tell you that this, in my view, is not a very big problem, but the Indian government, led by Narendra Modi, and of course the states which are ruled by the BJP, like Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, are really perturbed more than others about what they call is the spread of Christianity by inducement. Now let's examine the fact, what's the real truth actually, and also compare that while the BJP and its ancillary parties which are ruled by the BJP, and the states ruled by the BJP are so vociferous against Christianity spread, they dare not talk much about the spread of Islam in India, which is spreading much faster than Christianity. Let me tell my readers, my listeners, that the spread of Islam is much more than the spread of Christianity. In addition, the Muslims in India constitute a very big minority, that's almost 20%. Though the government says 15%, I think it's maybe more than 20% also, because there are so many undocumented Hindus who have converted to to Islam. While despite all the talk of conversion to Christianity, they still do not constitute more than 2.5% of the population of India. And Christianity in India has been there for hundreds of years, almost much earlier than even the Muslim rule in India. So these are the facts we must remember. That means the BJP government would like to beat the stick for votes by attacking a small minority, and they dare not attack the bigger minority which is also carrying out a conversion in India. The first point which we must bear in mind, why should the Hindus convert to another religion? Now that is a point I think I will discuss it here. And that is where the Hindus must look inwards and solve their problems themselves. The first thing is that Hinduism is a very insular religion. Insular means that you have to be born a Hindu, you cannot be converted to Hinduism. I remember reading the very fantastic book written by Rabindranath Tagore, Gora, where a child is brought up by a Bengali couple, and then finally it turns out that he cannot be converted to Hinduism because he was born a Christian. Now that is a point we bear in mind, and Hinduism is an insular religion, it cannot spread itself abroad. And none of the Hindus had any priests, preachers, or anything who went and spread the gospel or the word of Hinduism in Africa or in South America. Nobody went. Of course, now it's difficult, but at the time when the Africans were totally tribals, they were living in a different world and nothing was done. Hindus were sitting in the home. Even here, in India itself, the Hindus were supposed to spread Hinduism in India, but in all the tribal areas, in the various northeastern states, I haven't seen any Hindu missionaries there. I've been traveling all over, thanks to my background of the Air Force, and I haven't hardly seen any Hindu spread in, say, Meghalaya or Nagaland, Mizoram. I have seen no spread of Hinduism at all, no, nothing. So what I'm saying is the Hindus got to look inwards first, before you start all this crap, like stopping the spread of Christianity, when the Hindus themselves have done nothing. Secondly, let's bear in mind, I've studied in a Christian school, in a missionary school, but doesn't mean that I've become a Christian. It is something which is inherent. And if some people, Hindus, are converting to Christianity, and I think they are not as many as what convert to Islam, except perhaps in Punjab, where 10%, I think, Sikhs in the three districts of Amritsar and Gurdaspur and Firozpur have converted to Christianity. And I'm told one of the biggest churches in India is being built in Jalandhar. And the Sikhs Panth, the Panch Pyare and others are really not concerned of what is happening there. But the Hindu government here in the center, led by Narendra Modi, really concerned about it. And they don't have anything better to do. The better things to do is to improve the economy of the country. India is a poor country with 143 position out of 193 as far as the per capita income is concerned, and 20 crore Indians are below the poverty line. So as I said, the Hindus first must remove the poverty among the people. That's the first point. Second point is the caste system. Even among the Sikhs, there are the Mazhabi Sikhs who are the scheduled caste Sikhs, and many of them are not allowed to enter the Sikhs Gurdwaras, and they have their own Mazhabi Gurdwaras. Now why should it be so? And same thing with the Hindus. The caste system continued. It's a very rigid caste system, and states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan dominated by caste. Even the selection of the candidates for election is based on caste. Until they rectify all these and you take all castes together and do away with the caste system, I do not see how they can stop the spread of Christianity or Islam, which gives you a classless society. Nobody wants to be known as an inferior, that your caste is a Shudra, you are a Mochi or you are a sweeper, so hence, we can't associate with you. So these are the people, the lower caste, who have converted to Christianity. Of course, I will say there are very few Brahmins who have converted, very few of them, but those who have converted because of conviction. So the first thing is that the Hindus must look inwards, and nobody is doing that. They look for shortcuts by passing a bill, that to stop the foreign funds flowing into the country. Now, I can tell you, I want to ask, the so-called Brotherhood of the Sangh, that what the Hindus did for the last 100 years in India, how many missionary schools they set up, how many of their missionaries went into the eastern regions to Africa to spread the message of Hinduism. Hinduism is a very rich religion, money minus the caste system, and if the Hindus could get rid of the caste system, it would be the best religion in the world. But that's not happening. In fact, I think caste has become ingrained into society, and it has been perpetuated by the government by legalizing it, by putting it in the constitution. I don't think there's any country in the world which has such a provision in their own constitution, where there will be reservation for the lower castes. And why they feel they have been wronged for 2,000 years. Well, not only the castes have been wronged, the Hindus themselves have been wronged for 2,000 years. And at least during the last 1,000 years during the Muslim rule, the Hindus were second-class citizens in their own land. Now you can deny that. I won't go into the aspects of history there, because the Hindus were militarily weak and they were defeated. They didn't have the tenacity, the fanaticism. I think you can read the history of warfare by Field Marshal Montgomery and read his assessment of Hindu warfare. I'm not going to discuss that here. I'm just discussing the conversion bill which has been passed. And is it really legitimate? Is it worth it? You see, when you pass a bill, it doesn't mean it's going to be followed in toto, because people who are poor, who don't have things to eat, who are discriminated against, do look for avenues outside. And when you have no avenue in your own religion, well, what the hell is man supposed to do? How did composite India, that includes Pakistan and Bangladesh, almost 40% of the population of this region converted to Islam? Why did they convert? That was because right up to the 19th century, sati was prevalent in Bengal. And which Sikh can deny that the queens of Raja Ranjit Singh committed sati? What the hell is going on, damn it? Look at the facts. So as I'm saying, the Hindus have to look inwards. I'm including Sikhs also as part of the Hindus, because they follow the Hindu customs. They carried out sati of the queens, and along with them even the 6 handmaidens were made to do sati. It's so I mean, we can look at it now and say that it's not correct. That's all I can say. And when the Hindus were ruling, they had all sorts of nefarious things: child marriage, sati, caste system, and there was no reformer who came up for 1,000 years to put all these through. And only in the 19th century, I think it was Raja Ram Mohan Roy who persuaded the British government to act. So it was a godsend opportunity for the Indians that the British came. They abolished the jizya tax, which was being levied by the Muslim rulers, and for once the Hindus could breathe freely. They had education. They could travel all over the country. There was no fear that their daughters would be abducted and taken to the Muslim harems. So, gentlemen, I think this bill which is in past its parliament should be scrapped. That's my personal view. And Hindus should look inwards to see how they can reform the religion and make it a modern religion which doesn't believe in caste, which doesn't believe in all the nefarious practices which are continuing all over India, untouchability, so many things are there, And even now, I think India has not come out of that medieval mindset. You may have big people, women flying pilots, fighter pilots, so many things, but the discrimination of women is rampant. I think Hinduism has treated women more as a chattel. Just imagine that the laws of Manu on which Hindu jurisprudence is based has got no provision for punishment for rape. It has no provision for punishment for bigamy and multiple marriages. Well, that is the fact of life. And why couldn't the Hindus reform these things? Why? It required the British to come to India and pass a common civil code, a common criminal code, which made rape an offense, and it made sati equivalent to murder. It was never done. And despite everything, let me tell that in 1664, the much vilified Aurangzeb issued his, law, law which was passed all and spread all over India, 1664, in which he banned sati. It was a fatwa which he had issued, that sati will not be done under the rule of Aurangzeb. I think he's the only ruler I know who really codified and banned sati. And once Aurangzeb died, it came back again. And I will tell readers here, listeners, that the Bengal high caste people even went up to the imperial court in England and fought the case that sati should not be banned. It's on record. I mean, there were people in India who still felt sati should continue when the British were ruling, and the imperial court rejected their contention. So, gentlemen, the Christians, let's accept, are only 2.5%. They are not a threat to India at all. While Muslims in India are a threat, because a substantial portion of them have not reconciled to the fact that one stage they were the rulers in India and now they have been put at the bottom. They haven't got through that trauma. While you can't say that any Christian is anti-India, most of the Christians have fought for India and they have covered themselves with glory. I've been in the armed forces, I've met a lot of Christian officers and men. I don't think you can say that. But now there's been a backlash against Hindutva, and that backlash is telling us what exactly happening. And the backlash is that the Christian stance against Hinduism is hardening. So what has the government really achieved, the BJP government? I think the BJP government has done something which is extremely silly by passing these things and trying to instigate the people that Christianity is a threat to the country. Christianity is not a threat to the country. If there is at all a threat, it is a fringe minority of the Muslims. And if you say as a fringe minority, even if there are 5% Muslims who are anti-India out of a population of crores, you can see how many Indians have to tolerate such people in India, and the government is just sitting silently over it, and they will not be able to do anything about it. The best thing is to scrap such things. The Christians have done a lot of good work, missionary work. They have brought education to the tribal areas, and they have brought so much good to the country. I won't talk about that at the moment. It's not worth talking. All I will say is that please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and at the same time, I will say that one should not pass judgment quickly on anything. And this policy of the BJP to sow hatred against the Christians is very bad. And I think India will suffer for it in the long run. And maybe after 100 years, when the country is written, history of the country is written, it will be the BJP which will be held responsible for all this. Goodbye, gentlemen. I think I will call halt now and say bye bye. Take care and God bless.